Hi folks, this is Saturday morning. We're over here by Fatty Seafood, Team JoJo Fishing Curriculum #1 for 2024. Today's topic is going to be drop shots, one of them anyway. We got Mr. Mike Gallo. Raise your hand, Mr. Mike. Where's Mike? There's Mike Gallo right there. Just give us the insights on drop shots, how to do it, when to do it, and where to do it. So we're going to finish eating and we're going to get on with the program. You better make sure you're all right. All right, folks. Mike's here. This is Mike Gallo.
What they say, it's better to ask forgiveness
than
permission.
All right, well, let's finish eating and Mike can do his little presentation for us. Captain Gallo's like E.F. Hutton. When he talks, everybody listens. All right, so Mike's going to give us the intel on drop shot rigs.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm Captain Mike Gallo. I've been guiding. This is my 25th year. And I was talking with Ron earlier. When I was a kid, mid-70s, my dad took us offshore fishing. And we fished a drop shot. 3-ounce sinker, 3 or 4 tags hanging off the side. And we targeted croakers. If we caught snapper, that was great, but we targeted croakers. My parents divorced in the late 70s. My mother remarried and moved to Picayune, Mississippi. There's no place to fish a drop shot but Picayune, Mississippi. So I watched the TV. I watched Sproul and Martin. And I watched all those Hank Parker and all of those guys to learn how to bass fish. Because I had the fishing bug, but I wasn't where I could fish the only way I knew how. So I went through that phase of bass fishing. Texas rig, worms, spinnerbaits, crankbaits, big and jig, all of it. Then as I got older, got my own vehicles, bought myself a boat, I migrated back into saltwater. I worked in retail electronics for about 17 years. I got sick of that. And I decided, at my mother's suggestion, why don't you take people on fishing tours? I knew what she meant. It's not a bad idea. So I got all the credentials I needed from the Coast Guard, got my license, and started guiding part-time in 1997. And in 1999, I bought a place in Carolina River. But with a bass background, I couldn't imagine putting that heavy sinker between me and the fish. I'm not worried about me feeling the fish, I'm worried about the fish feeling me. So the lighter the sinker, or the more play I can give him to move around before he drags that sinker, I think the greater chance I have of hooking. So I'll make my drop shots anywhere, short ones might be 12 inches, and big ones might be 3.5 feet tall, where the hook is 3.5 feet below the sinker. My normal drop shot setup, I take a 30-pound piece of monofilament, about 36 inches long. I tie my 1-ounce bank sinker on one end. I always use a #2 octopus hook. I'm not specific on brand names. I've been using Mustad because a guy gave me 50 pounds of them. So I'm probably not going to buy any more hooks as long as I've got it. But anyway, I tie that hook on there and I fold it over 2/3 of the way. And I either do an overhand loop knot or a figure 8. And my main line ties into that loop. So if you imagine that, you have your sinker at the bottom, you have your shrimp swimming around freely. Drop bites it, great, right? You are up here in the boat, hopefully that angle is the same. You feel the fish more than the fish feels the sinker. Now they will swim with it. That's your choice, right? The longer you let him swim, maybe he feels it, maybe he doesn't. It is real. It's what he thinks it is. It's live shrimp. You're not trying to trick him. When he bites it, it's exactly what he thinks it is. And I tell my customers, if you don't take it from him, he'll eat it. Don't be in too big of a hurry, right? How often do we set the hook and we miss, or we miss, or we miss? Another story, I threw a test net. So, you see where I'm going. If I'm digging it out of his throat, I call you. I'm hoping they're not too small and I kill him. I don't want to kill him. But I want to catch him. So you figure out that magic spot, how long, because he's going to hit it, fold it in half.
Talking about setting the hook now.
They don't eat shrimp face first. That horn would poke them in the mouth just like it would us. So they fold them in half just like they look when they come out of the boil. They swallow it backwards. That way the horn on the head and the tail is nice. Open the bill, let it go straight to the bottom, and I can still feel the tail. And I'm just amazed at how sensitive brain is compared to what we've been fishing all the years leading up to it. And I can feel the tail wiggling and it stops. And just instinctively I said, look, I've got to fish. Holy smokes. You know, that big question of we may have cracked the code. You know, so, man, that was just amazing to do that. And then I was driving it straight down. Just let it sit. Don't catch it. Catch it. Now I had a blast. And I've backed it up to an 1/8 ounce. An 1/8 ounce will work just as good, even a 16th ounce. Right? So then my crazy brain gets to thinking, all right, the sinker's down here and that leg is off to the side. If the fish happens to approach perfectly, will you feel it? Or will you just feel his lips clamp down on the line? We're talking about the big ones that we're all after. Will I feel that or will I not feel it? So I started making my tag shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Because I want, you know, I don't want him to be able to bite it, let it go. I never see it. And that whole thought process comes from a movie I watched when I was a kid. It's not 90 degrees like most of ours. So I tie my main line in that eye, and I tie another short line in the bottom of the eye down to my sinker. And that hook stands straight. And I'm putting my gun, and I'm hoping it whistles when I pull it through the water, and I can get his attention to come see. And if I can get him to come see, he might bite. So I'm just trying to, I don't stop thinking about it. It's a constant thing, trying to get better at it. I do prefer the drop shot to the Carolina bait. But that's really the explanation over 25 years what got me to this point. I still do the drop shot with the plastic off to the side if there's heavy current. I constantly use a drop shot when I'm fishing my bait with my customers. And that inline one, well obviously I'm starting to share that information now. But that, I probably have fished just a jig head twice in the last 3 years. And that would be when I'm swinging my plastic over like the man-made reefs in the lake. Where if I let it sink down in there, even that sinker will get hung up in shells. You know, you'll probably find.
Does it work with live shrimp too? A live bait? That's a good rig for a live bait?
Well, I don't like the inline drop shot with live bait because he's going to munch on that long one. I have mixed feelings about that. You know, when they suck it in, they certainly feel the whiskers of the shrimp. It doesn't seem to bother them. But I just want to think everything's good. So where he eats like normal, I catch it. So if I'm using live shrimp, I use the tag. And if I'm using plastic, it's more inline. I don't like the way a swivel collapses. That tiny little distance, whatever that is, 32nd of an inch, I think that might cost me a buck. Yeah, no. I'm always direct. I don't want any compression. He can hit it, it has its compression, I don't feel it on his end. Even if it's, I know I'm splitting hairs at that point, but I don't want to miss anything.
So like when you use the inline hook, you use it straight, you tie it hook straight to that inline line?
Yeah. Now, if it's braid, I can put a piece of shock lead
Right.
between. Yeah. Usually as we start transitioning into winter, I just look at the water. When I start seeing that water get really, really clear, I've got rods that have completely spooled the fluorocarbon. And I'll put my braided line up and fish strictly with fluorocarbon. So you're tying that fluorocarbon directly into the eye. If my fluorocarbon's 10-pound test, it helps me sometimes if I have 8-pound test on the sinker. That way if the sinker snags when I pop, I lose just the sinker and not everything. You have to start.
Not on that Palomar knot, you just need a long tag.
You can do the Palomar. That's what the bass fishermen do. Leave the tag into the sinker. I use what's called a centaurum knot. Very simple. Very simple. My dad showed it to me when I was a kid, and before Facebook came out, I didn't know the name. So I've probably been tying it for 4 years not knowing the name. But I use the centaurum, and it contains 90% of the string rate alone. Where Unity, I think Unity is 90
Yeah,
also.
it's good.
I tie it half the
That's
time.
how I tie my drop shot, just the uni to uni, I leave the tag in along, this is my line.
Right.
So that's a uni to uni, and I just leave, this is the hook, I put the